it's IRL.
Hi everyone, I'm Kieran, exiled from AlgoGator. Glad to be here. Looking forward to having a good chat.
Love AlgoGator. I bumped into you probably over a year ago now, in a photography Discord.
Yeah,
It was, so I've kind of known you a little while, and you have been working on this product that I want to get into. But tell me how you originally stumbled on Algorand and how you got started building.
yeah. Algorand itself, I got into blockchain and crypto stuff probably like September 2021. I went around different chains and saw different stuff, and eventually settled on Algorand just because I thought the tech seemed the best, and it was nice and simple. I've said in other interviews and stuff with people, it's like, I may be a software engineer for like 10 odd years, lead teams and plan projects and do all that stuff. But things like Polkadot, no idea. No idea. Read about it, didn't understand it. So I was like, I'm not dealing with that. Um, Terra, I got swayed with the 20% APR on my stable coins. I was like, well, that sounds great. But then it's like so complicated. It was like, you can do all this stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm out. Algorand was nice because you just get the coins. And at the time, you were getting rewards as you had them. And then you could use the starting up the kind of DeFi space with Yodlee and then Tiny Man and all that kind of stuff. So the building, actually building stuff on Algorand. But I've always, like I say, a software developer by trade. Um, and I was just, I always wanted to do something in it. I didn't know what to do. And then on Reddit one day, just browsing the Algorand Reddit, and I saw a post from Garrett that was like, "Hey, we're making a portfolio tracker. Do you think it's a good idea?" I don't know where the idea came from, but I responded and said, "Yeah, this is great. This would be a fantastic thing for people to have." And then I just sent him a message. I never really randomly DM people, but I don't know. Something just made me DM him. And then we got together on Discord. I met him and T, the designer at the time. Yeah, and the rest they say is history. We've got our first build out end of November 2021. It was all good from there.
So AlgoGator, which is what you've been building, has
Yeah.
been 2021. And who's on the team now? Who do we got?
So the team has shuffled around a little bit. So there's myself, there's Garrett, and now recently we've got Corbin, or as most people will know him as Algeezy. So everyone is a developer. Everyone is a kind of co-founder. Everyone does a bit of everything. But obviously we have our strengths. Garrett's very good at the kind of Web3 side of things. I can handle most of the business stuff, and Corbin, as everyone knows, is a really good artist. So he's going to help us with some NFT stuff and knows the mind of the NFT creator. So he's bringing in some new features. So he got his first piece, first release done the other day for bringing in and compiling all the NFT creator tools into one place. So we thought that was really, really cool because I'd seen the Loficle and Thirstober and everyone like that. They have tools spread around the place, and there's a Medium post, and you can find it. You can put it in one place. Here's the next page, links to everything. Go do what you need to do, and that'll be expanded on in the future.
I love that that's kind of the central theme for AlgoGator is putting stuff all in one place. So one of the updates that you made recently that I'm the biggest fan of is the opportunities tab for DeFi across Algorand. Because like you said, originally there was only one platform to trade on, right? We had Tiny Man and that was kind of it. And then, yeah, all the staking came around and liquidity. And there's just so many opportunities. I have really had a lot of fun checking the opportunities tab to see what coins I have already in my wallet that are kind of not doing anything.
Yeah, it was one of our, right at the beginning. It was one of the features that Garrett and T had said, "Hey, we think this would be good," and immediately I was like, "That's the one. That's the feature. That's the thing." It's taken us that long. It took us to version 3 before we could actually get it in because you need a database, you need a backend and stuff to hold all that information. And yeah, it's really good. Everyone that has reviewed or spoken about the platform always brings it up. So I think I was right that it was the number one thing. And we've recently added a few extra bits to it. So we've got filtering for the different platforms, and we've added specific tabs for liquid governance, for Galgo, and also for stable coins. Just if people want to see them more specifically. But yeah, opportunity is really, really cool. But there's more to come for that. I'm trying to make it a little bit just more for people, but I think the basic concept of showing you what you could get into across the ecosystem and tied to your wallet as well is really good. So I'm really happy with how it turned out.
It's my favorite. And before the Opportunities tab launched, my other favorite feature was kind of the DeFi dashboard, the home page, if you will, because I would constantly forget about those excess amounts on Tiny Man. And like, if I didn't quite pull everything from a pool, I used to feel like it was finding money in my couch cushions. Like these little bits,
Yeah,
AlgoGator would be like, hey, just so you know, your wallet's got this here. So I like the dashboard, but the opportunities is obviously the more recent feature that I'm really excited about seeing. I know I would love to see it categorized more like staking versus liquidity, being able to kind of
mhm.
talk, because I feel like for people that are new getting into DeFi, they might want to start with maybe staking before they go into any like liquidity pool pairings. But I just think it's really cool what you're doing. So tell me about the plans for this NFT
Can't really
series.
reveal too much because it's still being done. But the NFT series, probably between 1,000 and 2,000 mint. A decent price for everyone, depending on the price of algo at the time. Um, Not ridiculously expensive, but not super cheap. Um, and then, so those NFTs will serve as membership cards for AlgoGator, where you can get premium features, basically. You hold one or more in your wallet, you can get premium features on the platform. We don't like necessarily gating stuff, so some of it will be cosmetic, but there will be some stuff that's more for the power user type there person, or here's a bit of a reward for supporting us. So things like the CSV export for your transactions, additional themes, um, and probably some stuff outside of the app. Access to the team, um, you know, working on features and stuff like that, and helping us with design and things, and being part of those conversations because I think that's quite interesting for people. I hope we'll see what happens, but yeah, NFT membership cards, and we're going to ARC 19 them. So because I have a few plans in the work for later next year for what we could do, in terms of like upgrading memberships and upgrading your NFTs, with some special kind of token, who knows. But yeah, so that hopefully be coming at the beginning of the new year. We can get those out.
Well, I know raising funding to keep the lights on, so to speak, is always a challenge for every builder. And you built in a time where the foundations kind of was working, kept changing their grants process, for lack of a better way to say it. It's really evolved kind of in the last calendar year. So when you're applying for stuff and it's constantly changing, that can be difficult. I loved the idea of some community funding. And I think last time you and I talked, I was like, how do I support AlgoGator? And you were like, well, you can buy stocks or like a sweatshirt if you want. Um, I love the idea of having an NFT to kind of show support. Are you thinking that's going to be like an annual membership, or
Um,
that's going to
well,
work?
I'm thinking it'll be. I haven't really thought that far ahead, if I'm honest with you. At the minute, it'll be a straight up buy the NFT. You've got the membership, but that's what we want to do later in the year is to upgrade those NFTs, which will increase the value and give you extra features if you upgrade them. Um, but initially, it's a one-time payment. We may add a V2 or a V3, as NFT series go, because they're going to be good NFTs. Like they're going to be PFP style NFTs that are going to be good. Like you'll want them, but they have utility built in, an utility that will grow over time. And initially, that sale, if it all goes well, that'll pay for our server costs for a year at least. That's our main. Like we need to tick that box before we can really get go any further with revenue stuff because we do kind of have a time limit on this. Server costs since V3 have gone up from $50 per month to $150 a month. Um, and that's just from us. We just have to pay that just now. But we're hoping that we can get some sales out of the NFTs and then that'll cover us. And if that covers us for a year, that's great. It takes a load off our minds and we can just focus on features and stuff and not have to worry so much about revenue. And I know that people don't want a website that's full of ads and full of stuff that's very obviously to get us revenue. Sometimes we have to, but we'll hopefully stick with just the NFT to start with, and then we do have some stuff happening at the very beginning of the year. which is going to be super exciting. And does help with revenue, but adds a lot more to the platform.
Are we talking swaps?
Yeah, so the swaps are relatively new, but they should be coming in. I mean, they're out. We've got a few niggly things with them just now, so we're just trying to work that out.
Okay,
Um,
rewind and explain that because that was the Scottish, I think, a wiggly that.
niggly,
Okay.
niggles. There's a few little bugs with it just now that we need to work on. But they are out. They should work with Wallet. We're trying to get the MyAlgo stuff sorted. So swaps are out. We get 50% of the fees on those for full transparency. In the new year, you may have seen our announcement of our partnership with Alltrade. So there will be a full, proper trading DEX coming for AlgoGator. So I'm hoping it'll be on a different subdomain. So it'll be like dex.algogator.finance, and it's a proper DEX with shared liquidity and stuff, so you can do all your fancy trades there. We decided to stick with Alltrade and Deflex for Deflex's powers or swaps, because personally, I find the trading interface that people use, with all the candles and the bars and all that, I find it quite intimidating. Don't want to use it. I'd rather just have a regular, nice, simple swap mechanism. But we've got the full trading experience, or we will, for people that want to use that and have your limit orders and stop losses and all that other jargon people seem to enjoy. So we'll get that in there, and we'll see how it goes. And I hope that people use it because we do get, as I said, revenue. So we get 90% of the fees on that one. So that one, if it comes off well and people like it, then it'll go well, and it'll do us a good service.
Now, this might be a pretty low level question for you, but will it automatically be added into like the aggregator tool? So like for people that are shopping rates on Alamex, for example, or trying to think, we have a couple other DEX aggregators. Is that automatic or is that like a further integration?
The actual DEX itself, the trading interface from Alltrade, is it's a SaaS offering. So it comes from Alltrade directly and it gets branded by
Okay.
us. So there's a shared liquidity, so it'll be across their specific liquidity that they have, that they can power it with. Deflex still powers the best rooted swaps in the ecosystem. I think that's obvious from seeing that MyAlgo are using it now in their actual wallet. But the actual trades and stuff will be quite specific within the Alltrade ecosystem, which I think will be a good thing and a bad thing. So you could get better prices than you would outside. And I don't know if they're going to get integrated into Deflex. But I mean, that's between those two companies. One of the things it allows us to do is if we did want to launch a token, we can do it through Alltrade, and we don't have to put up liquidity for it
Okay.
because it's shared between all the different tokens. So we could actually just release it, and people could trade with it, and we can set prices and stuff. But we'll see how it goes. As with quite a lot of stuff at the minute, and you'll have seen if people check our Twitter, which is at Team AlgoGator, you will see that there's a lot of updates. We're pushing builds and we're pushing changes quite a lot. I don't want to say we're throwing stuff at a wall, but we are throwing stuff at a wall a little bit. Throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and then go with that. Because we're trying a lot of things at the minute because we've got released, we're happy, we're stable. Let's see where we go from here. We have some plans, but it's because we're such a small team and we're kind of agile and we can pivot really quick. But when people want stuff, we're kind of following the community sentiment at the minute and just seeing what people would like. And we're doing that kind of iterative thing that I know that some people don't like, some people don't seem to get. But that's how we like to build because there's a whole interface. We're looking at the sales data for an NFT series, but I've not finished it yet. It's not there. You can view individual sales data for NFTs, but the full thing for an NFT collection is there, but it's turned off right now because I just need to see the data better. But that's how we like to build. It's like it's 80% done, and we'll come back to it. We'll come back around to that stuff because we have our priorities just now. Because there's Folks Finance V2, big priority for us. They reached out to us and asked us to be a partner and get them integrated, which was nice. That's the first time that's happened. Someone actually came to us and asked for integration. And then talking to people coming to us, just yesterday there was can't remember the name exactly, but you'll see it on our Twitter feed. There was a kind of review, a look at AlgoGator by someone else in the Algorand space. And for the record, I'd never spoken with them before. There was no payments under the door. There was no back pocket stuff or back alley stuff. We didn't know them. That just happened, and it was a surprise to me. And I'm very happy with the comments. It was a very fair review, and it was nice. Again, they pointed out the opportunities section.
Yeah. I have a question on how the opportunities section functions.
Mhm.
You manually seek out those then? I mean, so for
Um,
the building, had not used Cometa until I found it under the opportunities tab. I also had never used Opal's native staking on their site until I saw an AlgoGator. So I don't know if Lee Parsons is listening, but that got me to the Opal site. You know what I mean? Where I would have otherwise just kind of had that small stack of tokens.
yeah.
So how do you find those different opportunities to show people?
Well, I'm glad that and that's really cool that actually came out of it. That you found the Oculus stuff. Their staking platform is really nice. Actually, it's nice. Again, it speaks to me. It's nice and simple. There we go. It's just you stake the tokens, you pick a date, lovely. You get some stuff, and you can try and win some things. Great, all for it. And comment or two. Which we still want to get the full integration. But back to your question, how do we find them? Each DeFi platform, in its own way, has a way to find all of the pools, staking options, um, opportunities to use the right word. They all usually have an API or an SDK for that. And it's part of our integration to get those. Like if we're going to integrate a platform, we would have to find the pools anyway. In most cases, to know do you have the tokens that relate to those and are you in them. So we were already doing it, to be honest. What we've done now is just put all that together, new database table for it, linked them up and made our own schema and said, this is how we'll lay it out. There's two different ways we could have done it. We could either grab all the data from the different sources and chuck it in our database and then work it out and format it later. But I decided I would do the work up front, format everything in the back end as soon as we get them and then put them in. And then the front end is very quick and it can just pull all the data and show them in the cards. So we were already doing that kind of thing anyway. Now we've just got it on a schedule. So every hour it deletes the opportunities, gets the new ones, and puts them in. So it updates hourly. So we try and be ahead of the game. Because you see that with the xxiled pools, they last a week on packed and then they finish. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, please update. Please update. And then it did. It gave us with the proper expiry dates and stuff. And same with Oculus because they were finishing their pool finishing the 20th of December and then the new one came out. But yeah, it's really good. That review from yesterday also said that they found some stuff through the opportunities piece. So hopefully, we get our numbers up. We get people using the platform a little bit more. Then I can go to these people. I can go speak to Lee Parsons and say, hey, I said you loads of traffic. I'd like a little bit of that. Like, give me a piece of that pie, please. And that's one of the revenue platforms, the revenue plans in the future is that kind of affiliation. So yeah, we'll be annoying and you'll have a big gold bannered opportunity at the top that says sponsored. And you all click it. Click that one. Even if you don't want it, just click it. Not yet, but hopefully soon. But again, it's just numbers. We need to get our numbers up.
Well, I will say that's one thing that I do like about your platform is it is a very Web 2 experience. When you look at the opportunities, it really reminds me of shopping bank rates for like credit cards or
That's
loans.
exactly what I was going for. That's exactly it.
It's a familiar feeling and I like it. It's not intimidating. I do wish that I could drop down and filter maybe by tokens or things like that, because some people have pools on one platform but not pools on another. Kind of a way to that based on like a sort mechanism maybe. Or like I said, just for people that are new to DeFi, maybe filtering staking versus liquidity pools, because that's obviously like all a wax. But I love it. I love the Web 2 feel. It's not intimidating. It's been optimizing my DeFi experience since I see my little tiny man pools or my excess couch cushions on the dashboard. And then, like I said, I had never used Cometa. I had never done the Opal staking when they came out with it on their own site. And I kind of forgot about it. Those tokens were sitting in my wallet and I wasn't really doing anything with them. And so, I'm optimizing my my DeFi experience, and I really love it. So I want to ask you, you've been grinding away at this. If you could go back and give yourself some advice, what might it be?
If I could give myself some advice back at the beginning, I would have said, don't shy away from doing the development side of things as well. Because I came into the project more just as like project manager business side of things. Because I hadn't really done any like JavaScript before. I hadn't done any really. Hadn't done it ever. Had specifically stayed away and did not like web development at all. And I only took it on in the summer because we kind of had to, just because of Garrett was very, very busy. It was his job. So I had to step up and take it on. So I think my advice would be, go back, get into the development early, be one of the developers on it. And I think we would be, I don't know if we'd be much further along, but I would be further along in my knowledge, and that would help the platform. And it was a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun building over the past 6 months-ish since I've got back into the development side of things.
What about for someone in a similar, would you say the advice would be similar for somebody that has, like you said, you're a software engineer, to somebody who is me that seems like a dev, which I understand in Web3 that might not necessarily be the case. So what about for people that are transitioning from like Web2 tech to Web3,
Yeah, I think because I'm still kind of transition. I'm literally just learning Web 2 at this point. Web 3 still worries me a lot. It's still very difficult. So I think for people that are making the transition from Web 2 to Web 3, if you're building on Algorand, pick, uh, you know, it's difficult. I think I would say sit down and do your research. Sit down and like properly read up on how the transactions and the applications are actually put together on Algorand, because there's a lot of stuff that is a little bit unintuitive, and a lot of it seems very like, why would they do this? I mean, that's to me. I don't. Other people will say, it's obvious. But like, how they actually handle all the state stuff and the contracts and things. It's all very, very small attributes and stuff. SN, LZ, all that kind of stuff, and everything's encoded in specific ways. So I think I would say do your research, but also I think the biggest thing would be to go talk to folk. If you want to get into Web3 and you want to get into Algorand, if you're watching this and you're like, I'd really like to build something on Algorand, whether you're a dev or you're not a dev, and you want to be one, go talk to folk. Come and speak to us. Join our Discord. Come and ask. I'm not, very protective of our code base. So if you want to talk through some stuff, how we've done things, we're always available. And there's lots of great builders out there. You've got the guys at Transaction Lab that do NFTs. You've got Evan Maltz, who's a genius. Who else? We've got so many. I can't talk. You've got Harsh, who does AlgoScan, who's also stand-up guy. And Phil at Alamix/Deflex. He's a good guy.
I loved Alamix when it came out. I got really excited because it was kind of similar to the feeling overwhelmed. There's so many things in so many places that I was almost paralyzed by knowing, like, if I just went to, one DEX or another, I might be like losing something, maximize every little bit you can. So but I was also thinking, I recently did an interview with Justin from Atlantia, and he's more of a Web 2, Web 3 convert. And we have some really great builders on Algorand, like you said, and I love the different perspective that the Web 2 builders bring in to Web 3. Like, I love the opportunities page. It's by far my favorite DeFi thing happening right now. Because like I said, I learn every time I'm on it. It's different. You guys do push the updates constantly. So there's always something to look at that I wasn't, like now I'm playing around with the swaps and stuff. But I like that Web 2 experience. And I think it's huge for onboarding to be able to say, you know what, there's a lot of places to do stuff. But like, here's a good summary of what's happening. And, I found a Yieldly pool. I had like 5,000 Yieldly. I don't know why I still have 5,000 Yieldly, but like I hadn't been on the Yieldly site since over a year probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it redirected me back to that site. So in addition to maybe trying some newer platforms that are out, it directed me like to Cometa, for example, or even Opal. They just launched that kind of staking thing not that long ago. it also brought me back around to do something with my idle tokens from a platform that kind of isn't doing a whole lot. Like it reminded me it was there. I
Yeah.
just think I love it. I can't wait to see what else you guys keep doing. And I'm excited for the NFT series. It's a good tool for builders to be able to kind of rally some community support. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good addition to what we do. And it hopefully will just bring more eyes because there'll be people that just do NFTs that will hopefully find them at the top of the charts, hopefully. And they'll see it and go, oh, we'll get one of those. And then they'll eventually like join the Discord and stuff and see, oh, wait, these have all this utility. Like, because it's utility built in. I don't think there'll be any other NFT series that's got as much utility, except for probably Tiny Horse, like where you can't race them. But maybe you will at some point. I don't know. But it's going to open up a lot of stuff on the platform for people. But yeah, like I said, lots of good stuff coming. I will add the filters and stuff on the opportunities page.
Well,
What you
maybe
should do, what,
member benefit or something, or maybe
well,
like by token. I think that the liquidity and staking would be a good general move.
mhm,
But like, yeah, I'm really into very few tokens. But like, yeah, I get confused on where all the pools are at, and I think it would be cool to be able to filter it by tokens. So maybe
yeah.
better color
It,
coding. I like color coding.
I think that's a good idea, actually. It was actually originally built like that. When we did the first proof of concept, you selected a token and then it showed you the opportunities for that token. But I wanted it to be, and it's really funny that you say that it's like the bank stuff. That's what it was built on. That's where my inspiration came from because there's like in the UK, there's a lot of those kind of aggregation sites for loans and mortgages and money supermarket and compare the market and stuff like that. And it was I just took inspiration from that, and I think I always kind of go that Web 2 way because that's what everyone's used. We have used Web 2 for a long, long time, and if it ain't broke, in terms of UX, because I think Web 3 UX can be a bit not great at times. Like I mean, I was. I'll give you an example. I was getting myself all hung up after we launched because the initial kind of loading time, not that it was long, I mean, it is long because we're doing a lot, but there wasn't enough feedback. So we put in the little notification at the bottom with the spinny wheel thing, which I was very pleased to find. Little spinny wheel thing and it updates and tells you what it's doing. I jumped onto AlgoFi. This isn't shade to AlgoFi, by the way. Jumped into AlgoFi V2. Cookies had run out, so I had to connect my wallet up for the first time again. Connect my wallet, and then it sat there, and it didn't look right. That's not how many algo I have. And then it updated for me, and I was like, "Where's their little notification thing? Where's the thing?" It's like a tiny thing from Web 2, which I think there needs to be a bit more of that. And I am sad that I missed out Justin from the awesome builders list. He's a great guy. He's helped us. And want to do more work with him directly. But yeah, and Alandia's amazing. So always loved Alandia, especially in UX. Great UX.
Mm-hmm. They do.
I
I
think
love
that's what separates things.
that. I gave somebody feedback the other day on a DApp that they were building, and it appeared to me as a non-dev that the address I was trying to copy to then paste somewhere else in the DApp, it wasn't working. Well, it was, but it was missing that click, right? That click
Mm.
actually something people have to like put in the coding, right? Like you need the click. Just kind of like you were saying, the spinny wheel thing. It's the
Yeah.
littlest. I was thinking it wasn't working and it was on my clipboard, but because I didn't see the click happen on the screen, I don't know. It
Yeah,
is
it's all these little things. It's they all make a huge difference, and it's funny how much of a difference they can make and how long they take. God, they take ages. What am I doing at the minute? I got great feedback from Andrew W, who's a savant when it comes to
loving it.
knowing about things. He's great. So you just off out of the blue just sent us some feedback and say, hey, this would be really cool if you did with this with your NFTs. I've done enough DeFi over the past couple of weeks. I'm back to building on NFTs. Copying the ASA ID. I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. So I put that in this morning for the list view, and then I started doing it on the grid. And then I sometimes can't get JavaScript to work properly. But it led to us having we're going to add a little drop down menu for all your NFTs for copy ASA ID, add to favorites, bring in favorites for NFTs. So you can add things to favorites, and then where we've got the list or the grid, I'll put another icon for favorites so you can just view your favorites. And then I want to make that shareable.
The DeFi tokens too, right? I'm gonna be able to mark some favorites.
Yes. Yes, let's do
The
that.
member perks that I'm all about. Those are good member perks that, all
That's a
the
good idea.
still there, but like just being able to organize it, aggregate it, color code it.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what you should do, and this is for everyone, if you have feature ideas for the platform, we have a forum thingy on Discord. Is it a forum? Is that what it's called? We got a forum on Discord for feature requests. Go make a post there and say, this is all the things I want. And we'll come back and go, cool. Because like I say, we don't have a set roadmap. We have plans. But if people come to us, like I've always said, if people come to us and say, this would be really cool if you did this, we'll look at it. And if it is indeed really cool, we'll go build it because we want cool stuff. That's we're happy and stable, and we've got all the just commit to go actually, but we've got pretty much the whole gamut of like the main DeFi places. After we got folks in, that was the last big one. So we're very happy with where we are. So now we can do fun things, like add drop downs for NFTs and favorites and folders. God, I want folders for stuff, so you can put things in folders and then just arrange and make it feel a bit more like your portfolio rather than your portfolio on our website. It's more like it's yours, so you can kind of customize things as best you want. So maybe there'll be customizable graphs or charts or something like that. I'm doing a lot of that in my day job at the minute. Everyone wants to.
Is it AlgoGator.app? Is that I'm off the top of my head. What's the URL if you want to
The
visit?
URL is just the whole app dot thing. Oh, it's just AlgoGator.finance. That's it.
AlgoGator.finance. And then I'm assuming you have a link there. I'm already in the Discord. So I was in the Discord, I think, before launch. But so AlgoGator.finance, the link to the Discord is on the website.
It should be.
Uh,
It definitely should be, but I will give you a new link, and if you could put it in the YouTube, I'd be very, very happy about that. That would be great.
I'm for sure I'll link info. But we got a channel. It might be a UK thing, probably in a forum, but we have a channel on Discord for feature requests.
That's it.
Okay. I appreciate it. It's always good to talk to you. Like I said,
Yeah, you too.
I love what you're building, but I also love your team. And yeah, I like the people and I like the projects I get to talk to. Or I have a little bit of pull that I control who I interview. And so I'm just really fortunate that I get to talk to people like you and the guys from NFTs and like I said, John from Alameda. I gotta get the guys from Alamix maybe. I'll give them a holler.
Yeah. There's so many good folk out there. But yeah, thank you very much for having us on. Yeah, just we love talking about the platform. Hopefully, we can come back in a maybe like February kind of time once we've got Altrade set up and that's been working for a little while, and we'll have more news on the NFTs. Hopefully, they'll be coming out or be out, and we'll be into like the next phase of AlgoGator at that point. Hopefully, I can come back maybe with another two people. Maybe if we can work out some kind of time because the times we're all over the world now. Maybe we can come back and talk more.
I would love that. I can't wait. And happy holidays, happy New Year if I don't talk to you. Enjoy the family.
Yeah. You too. Have a great Christmas and a great New Year.
Thank you.
Cheers. I thought we were going to do like a longer introduction. No, I thought it was like a comment.
I'm an Algeezy. I'm an Algeezy fan. Say it like that.
Me too.